How's it? My name is Brendan and welcome to the Be Creative channel. In today's video we're going to look at a range of paints by the company Gaahleri. Now many of you know that they are manufacturing airbrushes. Now they've actually created a sub-brand that now manufactures their own brand of paints. The brand of paints is called Kaleido Colorworks. I managed to get a sample set of 6 of these colors, and we are going to test them and see how they actually perform. But before we do that, I'm going to just read from their pamphlet. I've got a little pamphlet with the 6 colors, and I'm going to read a little bit from their pamphlet on what they're all about. Their Colorworks range is called the Rapid Air series. So these are meant to be just for like airbrushing. The Kaleido Colorworks Rapid Air series is a high-performance water-based acrylic paint formulated with an eco-friendly, non-toxic, solvent-free base, pre-adjusted to optimal spraying ratio at the factory. It can be used directly or further diluted as needed. Featuring the proprietary rapid air technology, this series uses a unique formula and precise molecular orientation technology to overcome the surface tension limitations of water-based paints, enabling a smooth, even application of the paint in a sheet-like structure on the material surface. This innovation addresses common issues such as water bead formation, paint buildup, and sagging that occur with traditional water-based paints during rapid spraying. The enhanced paint film structure provides adhesion, scratch resistance, durability, and outstanding gloss comparable to solvent-based paints. No primer is required, allowing easy application on a wide range of materials such as ABS, PE, PC, resin, glass, textile, and metals, making it ideal for various creative products or creative applications. So that's quite a bit. They're claiming that you don't need any primer. Cleanup is with water or with their thinner or cleaner. Now with this sample set I didn't get the thinner or the cleaner, but I've got my water here, so we're just going to, when we do a color change, we're going to just clean it with water. Now I have prepped a few pieces of plastic. I'm just going to show you here. I've got these fuel tanks from an Academy F16 fighting Falcon. Now you see what I've done is I've actually done a primer, and I've also left bare plastic. So we're going to cover both of them and see how this actually performs. Now to do a control measure as well, I took 2 parts from an Edward kit, a landing gear from an FW190, and you see here one has been primed and the other one is unprimed. Edward are very notorious and well known for their very fine panel lines and rivet detail, and I've chosen these 2 pieces specifically because I want to see how well it covers and how much detail it actually covers up, whether you can see the panel lines and the rivet detail after the paint has been applied and dried and everything. Okay, so it looks very interesting. The set that I've got here has got some very interesting colors. We've got a white, there is a freedom blue, which is quite interesting color blue. Then there is an Italian racing red, so those guys who want to spray their Ferraris or racing cars in Italian racing red. This is the ideal paint for you. Each bottle comes with a agitator ball inside, so mixing is going to be very easy. The next color that there is lustrous orange, which is, it looks pretty interesting as well. We'll see how that goes. Then we've got a Twilight purple, which looks pretty interesting. I haven't mixed it up, but later on we'll see how that actually goes. But it looks pretty interesting. Yeah, but we'll see how that one goes. And then we have one metal one, which is a silver. Okay, and that looks pretty okay as well. I'd like to see how it compares to what Vallejo's and the other brands of paints are. Okay, the ball seems to be a little bit stuck there. Okay, there we go, there's coming loose. Okay, but yeah, shaken up, it looks pretty good. Yeah, so we're going to give these a little bit of a test. The bottles are how much do you get in the bottles here? I'm just trying to see here. I can't see how much is in the bottles, but it's more or less the same size as the AK acrylics and paints. Oh, there we go, 20 milliliters. You get 20 milliliters of paint in each of the bottles. Okay, the droppers, it comes with a dropper, which is pretty standard for most of the acrylic paints that are being manufactured these days. So yeah, let's I'm going to put this aside, pause the video for a bit, and we are then going to get spraying with some of these colors. I'm going to be using the Harden Steenbeck Evolution 2024. Now this has got the 0.28 millimeter needle and nozzle set. So we're going to see how it performs using this airbrush. Okay, cleanup should be pretty quickly. Yeah, as you saw in my previous video where I spoke about the Evolution 2024, there should be no paint coming back and all that stuff. So let me pause the video for a bit, get set up, and we'll get starting with spraying some of these colors. Hi there, welcome back. Okay, I've got everything set up. The first color that we're going to test is the Kaleidoscope Rapid Air White, which is numbered K001. This is a gloss paint. Now I'm starting with white because many people have had an issue with white where it's opaque but not opaque enough that you need to do multiple passes to actually get good coverage. So we're going to see how good this is going to cover now. I've got my little container of water ready with my paintbrush, so if we get any paint tip dry, then we can clean it off quickly. So yeah, let's just give this a spray and see how we go. Now, I must say it comes out very smooth. Seems to be covering pretty nicely. I've got my compressor set at 20 psi, which is more or less sort of like standard for most people. And yeah, coverage seems to be pretty good. And I don't see any difference between where I've done with primer and where I've just done with, straight plastic, Yeah, so that looks pretty good, you know. It comes out very nicely. Nice even flow, good coverage. It is looking very, very smooth at the moment. And it seems to be retaining the pen line detail on the actual fuel tank itself. Now I'm just doing light coats, so yeah, but you can obviously go a lot heavier. So I'm going to sort of open up the needle a little bit, and we're going to kind of like blast it and see how well, what sort of paint buildup we get. And there you see how quickly it actually covers. That's just a couple of passes, and you can see it's covered, and there's no beading, there's no sagging, there's no orange peel effect, and I'm coating this pretty thick, you know. I've opened up this nozzle like all the way, so I'm literally blasting it on, and I can still see the finish is still pretty smooth, you know, and it's not how can I say, omitting any of the pen line detail. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside for a bit to actually dry off. I'm going to clean out the airbrush, and we're then going to load the next color. Okay, so I've cleaned out the airbrush. What I did notice is with the white, I was having a little bit of an issue with the paint coming out. Now, I had the 0.28 needle nozzle set on the Evolution 2024. I then went and checked on their website, and they say that to spray these paints, you need to have anything from a 0.3 and higher needle nozzle set for the paint to flow out easily. That's without thinning. So if you are going to use a smaller needle nozzle set that are below 0.3 millimeters, it is advisable to use their thinner to actually thin the paint so that it can actually spray efficiently through. Okay, so the next color that we're going to do, that we're going to test, is the color that they call Freedom Blue. Now I've mixed it up, and you can see it looks quite an interesting color. This is also a gloss color. It's numbered K117. I've got a little bit inside my color cup here. We're going to spray this fuel tank piece and see how it actually performs. Once again, I've swapped out the needle nozzle set. I've now got a 0.45 needle nozzle set on the airbrush, so this should now spray with no problems at all. My compressor is still set at 20 psi, which is, like I said, pretty much standard for what everybody is using at the moment. Okay, so let's get started with spraying. All right, I'm just going to do a couple of light coats. Oh, that looks really, really nice. Just with a light coat, you can see that the coverage is so much better. I mean, look at that. That's just one coat, one light coat at 20 psi. And that is basically covered, like, I can't even see the gray plastic underneath. And it looks pretty glossy as well. I mean, straight out the bottle, it's got that glossy look immediately. Okay, so I'm going to hit it with another coat. I'm going to go a little bit heavier. Let's see how it sprays. And that's the second coat. So it is basically covered everything, and it's got a wonderful glossy look. There's no paint beading, there's no paint sagging, there's no orange peel effect. I can still see the panel lines even though I blasted it The second coat I blasted it quite heavy, but we're going to put it one side, we're going to let it dry, and we'll come back to it later. I'm going to clean out the airbrush and get ready for the next color. Okay, so I've cleaned out the airbrush. I've now loaded it with the next color, and the next color that we are going to be looking at is the Italian Racing Red. It's numbered K201. It's also a gloss color. So all those Italian fans, you know, the pizzas with no pineapple people. Yeah, so let's give this a spray and see how this actually performs. Just a reminder, 0.45 needle nozzle set, 20 psi. I'm going to just start with a very light coat. And you can see that the coverage is pretty good. You can see a difference between where the primer is and where the bare plastic is. But as I said, I just did a light coat, which is sort of like standard procedure when you airbrushing anything. You do a light coat first to give your paint something to key onto. So now I'm going to hit it with a slightly heavier coat now and see how the coverage is now. And look at that, straight out the bottle, no thinning, and it has basically covered everything. I do have a little bit of dust on there, but that's I should have actually cleaned the part before I actually sprayed it. But it has basically covered everything, just with one light coat and one heavy coat. I don't see any difference between the primed surface and the bare plastic surface. So yeah, and it's very, very glossy. Again, no paint sagging, no dripping, no runs, no orange peel. Got a nice glossy look to it. I'm just gonna hit it with another coat because I want to see how much of the panel lines it covers. But there you have it. It is now finished. I'm going to put this one side. I'm going to clean out the airbrush and we're going to get the next color ready. Okay, welcome back. The next paint that we're going to test out is the one that's called Twilight Purple. Now I've mixed it up pretty good. The number on this bottle is K315. It's labeled as a metallic. Now I can't see any metallics in here. I've got some in the color cup, but we're going to spray it and we're going to actually see. Obviously with it being a metallic, it's going to have a gloss finish to it. So let's give it a spray and see how it goes, or see how it looks. Right, yeah, so let's just get this sprayed now. I'm just going to start off with a light coat, like I did previously. Just a light coat. I don't see any, oh, there we go. Okay, there is slight metallic flakes in this paint. I want to see if I can actually get in a little bit closer there so you can see there's a slight metallic flake, and that's just with one light coat. It looks pretty good, goes on nice and smooth. Let's hit it with another coat now. A slightly heavier coat now, and it goes on absolutely smooth. No paint run, no sagging. Has a nice glossy appearance. You can see very minute metallic flake inside there. I want to actually get in a little bit closer here so you can see. But that looks really nice. Nice smooth finish, no orange peel, no sagging. And you can't see any difference between where I've done with primer and with bare plastic. So that looks pretty awesome if you ask me. This will definitely be a paint that you could use on your motor vehicles or motorcycles. I'm just gonna blast it one more time. Oh, okay, I've actually run out of paint, but there we go. That's what the finish looks like. It seems to be drying pretty quickly as well. I do have a little bit of dust on the actual model piece, but yeah, that's the Twilight purple. It looks really awesome. I'm gonna clean out the airbrush and get the next color ready. Right, we're going to test out now the last color. The last color that I'm going to test out, of course, is the one that's labeled metal. It's called silver, and the color number is KM006. Now I've shaken it up pretty good and it looks pretty much like silver, but yeah, we're going to spray it and we're going to see how silver it really is. I'm going to be spraying this on the Edwards FW190 wheel covers, specifically because I want to see how much of the panel line and rivet detail it actually covers, whether it omits all that detail. I've got one piece that is not primed and another piece that is primed. So let's give this a spray and see how it goes. I'm just going to put the one side. So I'm going to spray first of all the piece that hasn't been primed. Just going to go in with a light coat first of all. And immediately I can see, just with a light coat, I've got some really good coverage. I can still see the panel line and the rivet detail. We'll do a close-up a little bit later, but I first want to spray the piece that has been primed and see how that goes. Just a light coat. Now obviously when spraying metallics, it's always better to use a black primer, but I don't have a black primer at the moment. So, and yeah, it's covered really nice. I can still see the panel lines and rivet detail. Let's go back to the first piece again, and we're going to do a second coat, slightly heavier, and see how that looks. Primed piece, and we're going to do a second coat on that and see how that looks. It has definitely got a metallic sheen to it. It's not running or pooling. There's no paint buildup, and you can still see all the panel line and rivet detail. It does seem to be drying quite nicely as well. Just going to get a little bit of a close-up here so you can see. It has a nice metallic sheen to it. Has got some gloss to it as well. And you can see that the panel line and rivet detail is still very much visible, just with two coats of the silver. It looks silver. It's not clad, of course. This is the piece that has been primed. It does look like it's kind of like covered some of the rivet detail, but we're going to put it one side. We're going to let it dry, and I'm going to clean out the airbrush, and we'll get everything together and we'll check it out and see how everything looks after everything is dried. How's it? Welcome back to the bench. We are now going to have a look at the results for the Gaahleri Kaleido Works range of paints. These were samples that were given to me to try out. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I know of people and that have done written and video reviews of these paints. I have not watched or read any of those reviews because I wanted my review or my experience to be totally impartial from what they have said. So this is totally my experience and my personal opinion on these specific paints. Okay, so to start off with, the finish of these paints is extremely good. I mean, the coverage is good. There's no difference in color from where I did the primer and where it was bare plastic. You know, there's a consistent color. You know, this is now the white. The panel line detail is still very, very visible. The finish is really, really smooth. It's got a nice glossy look to it. There's no paint run or orange peel or sagging of the paint or pooling of the paint in any of the areas. It went down in nice even layers, and it finished with a very, very smooth finish. It is also very durable. I mean, I'm taking my nail and I'm scratching the surface, and you know, there's no scratches on the surface at all. The Freedom Blue, just as nice as well. Nice glossy finish, smooth finish as well. I'm actually going to get in a little bit closer so that you can actually really have a look at, see that finish. It is really, really smooth. It has picked up every single detail. Like over here, there's a sink mark, and you can actually see that sink mark after doing the paint. Now, you saw with each of these colors, I did a very light layer first, and then I did a heavy coat, and I was done. It was done. It was covered. There's no difference in color from where I did the primer and where there's bare plastic. It's all one even color, one smooth, even finish. And yeah, as I said, with the white, very durable. I'm taking my nail and I'm scratching here, and you can see there's absolutely no scratch marks at all. And I'm being quite forceful with these scratches, and you can see there's no scratches. So it's a nice durable finish, you know. I would say a little bit better durability than what Vallaggio's paints are. You can see the panel line detail very, very clearly. Nice, smooth, even finish. Now the Italian red, just as well, just as good. I'm going to bring it in nice and close here. You can see how nice and bright that red is. You know, the Italian guys who like doing their Ferraris and their Alfa Romeos and all those cars, you know, the Italian guys who don't like pineapple on their pizzas, this is going to be a paint that you will definitely love to use. Nice, smooth, even finish. Yeah, I do have a couple of sort of like dust marks on it, and that was because, well, I didn't clean the pot before I actually sprayed it. But you can see there that you can see those panel lines. It hasn't obscured any of the panel line detail. The finish is nice and durable. I'm scratching here. I'm not creating any scratch marks on the surface. Very, very smooth, even finish. Now, if you remember when I did this, I did a light coat then I did a heavy coat, and then on this side I actually did another third heavy coat. And I mean, I went on really heavy, and there's no paint sagging or paint runs anywhere to be seen. It is leveled out and left a smooth, glossy finish. Really nice. Definitely worth using that paint. Now we're going to get on to the Twilight Purple. Now the Twilight Purple is a metallic, and at first when I sprayed it on, it didn't look metallic, but now the lighting is not that great at my workbench, but if you look very closely, you can see those very minute metallic particles. It gives a scale realistic metallic sheen to the finish. So you're not only getting a nice glossy finish, but you're also getting that realistic metallic look. Now, of course, just to remind you as well that I did this metallic on a grey primer and bare plastic. Now, I'm going to advocate again that for any metallic finish, it is always better to use a gloss black primer. It actually helps the metallic particles to reflect more light, so you get a more realistic or more metallic sheen to your metallic paints. So I think if I had to have used a gloss black primer, this would probably look a lot better than what it is looking now. There's nothing wrong with the way it looks now. I mean, it's really nice. It's got that realistic metallic sort of pearl finish, and nice smooth finish, evenly done. One light layer, one heavy coat, and I was done. I was ready to do my color change. Now I'm going to get on to the silver. I'm going to pick the part that was unprimed first of all. Now this is the piece that was unprimed. Now I did this on a Edward FW190 wheel well cover. Now I specifically chose a Edward piece because Edward are very well known for their very fine panel line and rivet detail, and you can see here that with two coats, that's one light layer, one heavy coat, it hasn't obscured any of that panel line or rivet detail. You can see every single one of those rivets on that piece. So when you apply your wash or your weathering or whatever, you're going to see those rivets are still going to they're going to pop. You know, you're still going to see them very pronounced. What I did notice though is on the unprimed piece is where the rivet lines are. It's kind of like, it looks like it's pulled away or pulled or whatever, but it hasn't. It's actually still got that same even finish, flat finish with a metallic sheen, but it's kind of like added sort of like a pre-shading effect. So instead of doing a pre-shading, you could apply this paint, and you know, when it dries, it'll dry like this, so it gives sort of like a pre-shaded weathering look to it, you know. Yeah, the metallic particles very fine, giving that realistic metallic sheen. The lighting in my workbench is not the best, but you can see how nice, and it's got that very realistic metallic shine. Now I'm going to take the part that the piece that was primed. This was where I was a little bit concerned, because you can see here now this was primed with Tamier's rattle can grey primer, and you can see here that you can still see the rivet detail, but it's kind of like obscured it a little bit. I didn't go very heavy with the primer, and I did the same amount of coats for the silver paint. I went one light layer, one heavy layer. Now this won't be a problem really, because all you have to do is wear those rivet lines, and you just basically take a pin and just sort of like prick a little bit just to enhance that a little bit, add your wash, and your rivet detail is back there again. You can still see it very faintly, but it's not as pronounced as the previous unprimed piece. Really, really nice realistic metallic sheen on that. Now with regards to their metallics, how would I rate their metallics? Okay, L-clad metallics, you know, the L-clad metals are, you know, they are considered to be the top. AK Interactive's extreme metals, they are also there right at the top of the list. My next best metallic paint is of course the Mr. Hobby Super Metallics range of paints. They are like just under the L-clad and the AK Extreme Metals, and then these paints would come just under the Mr. Hobby Super Metallics with regards to the realistic appearance of their metallics. I mean, if you take these metallics and compare it to Tamiya's metallic paints, they've got that metallic sheen, but to me, when you actually really look at it, the metallic particles, they are kind of like oversized or overscaled. It doesn't look realistic in scale, you know. It doesn't look realistic, you know, on a scale model. Whereas these, 2 coats and you've got that realistic metallic finish. So yeah, L-clad first, AK Interactive's Extreme Metals, Mr. Hobby's Super Metallics, then these ones directly under that, Vallejo probably just under these paints, you know, the Vallejo metal colors, that would be just under these. And then of course, yeah, my last choice for any metallics would be Tamiya, because yeah, they are just a little bit too, you know, large and overscaled in my opinion. Okay, so we've had a look at what they look like on the finished model piece, and as you can see, they really do look good. Now we're going to talk about what is available. Okay, now these Kaleido Colorworks paints, they are not available in South Africa yet. What's in their range? They've got a pretty comprehensive range of paints. They've got a good selection of metallic colors. They've got their own varnishes. They've got their own cleaner and their own thinner. And each of these colors, metallics, varnishes, thinners, and cleaners, they can all be purchased separately, or you can purchase them as a box set. Now I'm not gonna go through every single one of the colors, because yeah, we'll be here till next week. You'd get bored, you'll put it on pause, you'll come back tomorrow, you'll still be bored, you'll put it on pause, and yeah, you'll actually end up forgetting about it. So I'm just gonna give you sort of like a brief rundown of what you get in the box sets that they are offering to people. Starting off, they've got a primary colors set. Now the primary colors set consists of 12 primary colors, okay, plus in the box you get a 20 milliliter thinner and a 20 milliliter cleaner. Okay, then they've got a metallic color set. The metallic color set consists of 12 very how can I say, vibrant metallic colors. And you also get a 20 milliliter thinner and a 20 milliliter cleaner. Then they've got a auto color set. Now the auto color set consists of 24 auto colors with a 20 milliliter thinner and a 20 milliliter cleaner, all in one box. Then they've got the advanced primary color set. Now the advanced primary color set consists of 24 primary colors. These are obviously all gloss colors, and included in that you get a 60 milliliter thinner and a 60 milliliter cleaner. Then they've got the Mecha color set. Now the Mecha color set is more for sort of like the guys who are into building science fiction models or mecha models or machining kind of model sets. Yeah, and that set comprises of 24 mecha colors. Some of them are very, very vibrant colors as well. Very, very interesting. They've chosen the most popular colors in the mecha color range. Included in that you get a 60 milliliter thinner and a 60 milliliter cleaner. Then we come on to the Pro Master Auto set. Now the Pro Master Auto set, it comes in a metal case or a metal briefcase, or yeah, some sort. It's a metal case. Okay, it's got foam on the inside, and in this box, what you get is 40 of these 20 milliliter colors, which includes some of the primary colors as well as some of the metallic colors. Okay, you also get in this box set 4 60 milliliter primers. Now I'm going to deal with the primers and the auxiliary products a little bit later, give you sort of like a rundown of what they are. So you get 4 of these 60 milliliters primers. You get 3 of their 60 milliliter varnishes. I'll cover that a little bit later as well. You get 1 60 milliliter bottle of retarder thinner. Okay, now this is a thinner that's got a retarder in, so if you want to slow down the drying process of your paint, you use this thinner that has a retarder in it. Then you get 1 210 milliliter thinner and 1 210 milliliter cleaner, all in one box. Last in their box set range is a Pro Master Mecha set. Now the Pro Master Mecha set is 40 of the 20 milliliter colors, which include primary colors, some of the auto colors, as well as the metallic colors. You get 4 60 milliliter primers and 3 60 milliliter varnishes. You get 1 60 milliliter retarder thinner, 1 210 milliliter thinner, and 1 210 cleaner, all in one box. So what you can do is you can purchase one of these box sets, and when you run out of a certain color, you are able to go and actually purchase each of these colors or metallics or varnishes or thinners as a separate item as well. Now let's go through what primers have they got. They've got a matte white primer, a matte gray primer, and a matte black primer, and they've also got a high gloss black primer. Not just a gloss primer, they are saying this is a high gloss black primer. I would be very interested to see how these primers are. The samples that I got didn't get any of the primers, so I don't know how they perform or how they look. But judging from what we've seen here, if these paints straight out of the bottle, spray like this, give the finish like this, without any issues whatsoever. I'm sure that the primers are going to be just okay, or just great. But still, I would really like to actually try some of these primers out if I eventually get some. The varnishes. What varnishes do they have? They've got a gloss varnish, they've got a semi-gloss varnish, and they've got a matte varnish. To finish off their range of Colorworks items, they've got auxiliary products. Now, the auxiliaries are your thinner, your retarder thinner, which is a thinner that has got a retarder to slow down the drying process, and they've also got their own cleaner. Now, I didn't get any of their thinner or cleaner in the sample. I basically used plain water to actually clean my airbrush. Now, I'm going to say this straight off the bat. Cleaning the airbrush, I would say it was more or less the same as I've experienced with the Vallejo range of paints. You know, it's not a lot of hassle, quick and easy. You know, just add water, flush it out, add some more water, flush it out, clean it with a brush. You know, do that 2-3 times and you're ready to go for your next color. And these paints were pretty much on the same level as that, you know. Not much extra work had to go into actually cleaning them, just using water. I think it would have been better if I did have their cleaner, because after each color change, what I did was I took the needle out and I wiped it on a clean cloth or a clean paper towel, and the red and the blue, there was a little bit of residue left on the needle, not much, you know, not like an extensive amount, but yeah, I think with their cleaner it probably would not have been the case. Now, with cleaning, when it came to the metallics, okay, this is where it became a little bit more, how can I say, I needed to put in a little bit more work, because with the very small fine metallic particles, it kind of like, it did kind of stick a little bit more to the internals of the airbrush. So I had to do another 2 or 3 cleaning flushes, or, you know, flushing out and cleaning 2 or 3 more times that I would have with the Vallejo range of paints, you know. So with the Vallejo range of paints, I would have done 2 flush outs and 1 blast through. With this, I had to do it like 4 or 5 times to actually make sure that there was no residue left inside the internals of the airbrush or on the needle. As I said, if I had their cleaner, it probably would have been a lot less laborious, been a lot more quicker, because you know, manufacturers, when they manufacture their paints and they manufacture their own cleaner and thinner, they manufacture it for that specific brand. And you know, it'll be the same with this. If you use their thinner and their cleaner to thin the paints and clean out your airbrush, your cleaning will be a lot more efficient and quicker than if you just had to, like me, I just had to use water. Still no issues, not too much work. Just with the metallics, I did have to sort of like do the flush out sort of 2 or 3 times extra, but yeah, definitely not a real big issue. Are these paints worth getting? Yes, definitely. They are definitely worth having a look at. Even if you just get a couple of paints to start off with. As I say, it's not available in South Africa yet. These samples that I got were supplied to me by Lindy and Philip from Supernova. They handed this to me and they said, you know, give it a go, let us know how it goes. And yeah, this is me now giving my honest first-hand impression or review of how these paints really are. And I'm going to say these paints are a game changer. Okay, from the first coat, the first light coat, where it was like really good coverage, and then doing a second heavy coat and I was done. I didn't have to apply any more paint. I was ready to do a color change and go to the next color. So it was quick, it was efficient, coverage was good, finish is nice and smooth. It's got a really nice glossy look. I didn't lose any pen line or rivet detail. The metallic finishes look real, like realistic metallic finishes, not sort of like toy luck or you know, unrealistic scaled Tamiya type of metallic paints. So yeah, definitely worth having a look at these paints, or even trying out one or two of them, see how you find it. Never you know, for what might work for one person might not work for another person, but I'm definitely advocating give these paints a try. Okay, they are really that good, quick and easy. Also bear in mind that you can use these paints straight out the bottle. Okay, now you saw previously when I was spraying, when I did the white, I was using a 0.25 millimeter needle nozzle set, and it sprayed okay, but it kind of like it was struggling a little bit. That's when I went back onto their website, and they do recommend that if you're using it straight out the bottle, using a 0.3 needle nozzle set and higher is what they recommend if you're using it straight out the bottle. If you're going to go anything lower than 0.3, you need to add their thinner. Don't go and try and use Vallejo's thinner or Mig Ammo's thinner or whatever. Use their thinner. Okay, it's specifically formulated to thin their paints. If I had their paints thinner, I probably would have still continued using the 0.25 needle, and I probably wouldn't have had any issues at all. When I did the blue, the red, the purple and the silver, I swapped out the needle nozzle set and I went up to a 0.45, and I had absolutely no issues at all. I had no tip drying, no clogging, there was no, you know, the paint came out and atomized evenly over the surface. It was truly astounding. I mean, you all saw I did one light layer, one heavy layer, and I was done. I was ready to go to the next color. So people definitely consider having a look at these paints. Do your research. Don't just jump into it, you know, try it out, see if it works. But I'm almost certain that everybody is going to be blown away with how great these paints really are. I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If you like this video and found it informative and beneficial, then please go down to that little thumbs up button and click on that thumbs up button, because every single like is going to help my channel to grow. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go there and hit that subscribe button. Go over to that little notification ring-a-ding-ding bell, click on that, select all, and every bit of content that I upload in the future, you will be notified immediately, and you can then go and watch and review it. Also, leave a comment if you have a question or a query, or even if you just want to say, how's it? Great video. Every single comment helps my channel to grow, and I will reply to every comment that is left. To close off, I want to thank Lindy and Philip from Supernova Studio for supplying me this sample set from Gaahlerie's Kaleido color works. It is much appreciated. I'm very hesitant to always try out new stuff, but yeah, trying out these paints has definitely been worthwhile. It is definitely a game changer. So to close off, I want you to go out there, be inspired, be imaginative, and most of all, go out there and be creative. Cheers for now.